This conference will now be recorded.
Right, so we are discussing internal tables concept. Yesterday we have seen how to modify and delete the contents of the internal tables. Okay, and as part of that only, we have discussed field symbol work area as well as what delete adjacent duplicates, all those things. Okay, and so far we are working with what a standard internal table. So to summarize the standard internal table, we know that a standard internal table can be created either with a key or without key. Okay, so key declaration is not mandatory, it is optional. And in case if you are declaring the key, it supports only what non-unique. It doesn't support what unique. It supports only non-unique. Non-unique means what? That key field can contain what duplicate values. And another point we understood is we can use both append as well as insert on what standard internal table. What is the difference? We know append can be used for adding the data only to the end of the internal table. Whereas if you take insert, insert can be used either to insert the record at the end of the internal table or in a specific index position. Okay, so keeping these points in mind, let us get into what a sorted internal table. So as the name itself suggests, sorted internal table means while adding the entries itself, SAP is going to sort the data based on the key field. Okay, I repeat, in case of standard internal table, how the data will be added, in whatever way we add, in the same way the data gets stored internally. And if you want to arrange that data in an order, explicitly we have to use what sort command. Okay, whereas in case of sorted internal table, while adding the data itself, the data will be maintained in what sorted order based on the key field, based on the key field. Right. Another point we have to focus here is if you take standard internal table, it can be created either with header, sorry, standard internal table can be created either with a key or what without key. Key declaration is not mandatory. So let's see what is the case in case of this sorted internal table. I'm using a different server. The other server, it's not logging. So I'm using a different server. Let's see that. So what is the last program? 28, I believe. So I'll say 29. Am I recording the session? Yeah, fine. So sorted internal table. Type of program is as usual executable program. Right. So what is the standard way of declaring the internal table? First you have to create the types structure. So let us declare the same internal table which we declared earlier with the three fields: employee number, employee name, designation. So I'll say types begin off. I'll give some type name ty_emp. I'll declare some fields like employee number type I. Let us take another field employee name of 20 type what C. I'll take another field employee designation of 25 type C, and end of what ty_emp. Done. So based on this, let us try to create the sorted internal table. So data, I'll declare it as something t_emp type table of ty_emp. So if we leave it like this, we already know it is considered as what standard internal table. So if I don't mention the type of table, by default SAP will consider that as what standard internal table. Otherwise also I can also say what standard table of so and so. It is considered what standard internal table. Now what is our agenda? Let us declare it as what sorted internal table. So I'll say type sorted table of ty underscore emp. Let's see whether we'll get any errors. So when I do syntax check, yeah, good. I got an error here. The key is not specified in full. The key is not specified in full. Types specified generically are completed only in standard tables. So what is the meaning of this error? The key is not specified in full. The types specified generically are completed only in what standard table. So what it is saying is, in case of standard internal table, I can create it without any key. But here the key declaration is what? Mandatory it seems. Okay, it is mandatory. Okay. So what I'll do is, for your understanding, let me comment this. Let me provide some inline comment. What is this syntax error? Yeah. So what is the change I'll do now is, I'll try to declare this without a key. And we know key can be either unique or what? Non-unique. Key can be either unique or non-unique. And in case of standard, we already discussed, it supports only what? Non-unique. So here also, I'll try to declare this sorted internal table with a non-unique key field. So I'll say with what? Non-unique key. I'll say employee number. So let's see whether it is supporting the non-unique or not. So when I do syntax check, yes, I don't have any error. So what is the meaning? It supports what? Non-unique. Already we know the concept of non-unique in standard internal table. Na? Non-unique means what? Which accepts what? Duplicate values. So any of this is valid. This is valid. We already know the concept of non-unique in standard. The same concept applies here also. So let us focus on unique. Let's see whether the sorted internal table supports unique key or not. So I'll say unique key employee number. When I do syntax check, yes, I don't have any error. So what is the meaning here? For sorted internal table, the key specification is mandatory. It is mandatory and it supports what? Both the non-unique and what? Unique. As the name itself suggests, non-unique means that particular key field can contain duplicate values. Unique means it cannot contain duplicate values. Again, this is an internal table without default header. Na? Understood? Because I have not used addition what? With header line. I have not used addition with header line. Okay, so when I do syntax check, this is considered as internal table with default header. But already we are discussing the last 2-3 sessions. It is always recommended to declare the internal table without what? Header. Because in object oriented, with default header is not supported in some of the areas. So always recommended to go for what? Without header. So since it is without header, I need to take a separate work area na, which will act as header. Okay, so let me try to declare the work area. So somewhere here I'll say w underscore emp type. What is the type name? ty underscore emp. Save it, check for the syntax. Done. Yeah, before I continue, any questions so far? Up to this point, any questions? Okay, so let us see how to fill this particular internal table. Earlier we have seen for standard, we can use both append and what? Insert. So now what I'll do is, let me try to use only append first. Let's see whether it works or not. Clear. So what is the process of filling? First you have to assign the data to the work area. From work area you have to copy it to the body area. So I'll say clear w underscore emp, w underscore emp hyphen employee number equal to, I'll say something 5, w underscore emp hyphen employee name equal to, I'll say something Raju, then w underscore emp hyphen employee designation equal to something manager. I'll try to use append w underscore emp to t underscore emp. Okay, so repeat this process for the rest of the records. And this is what kind of table? Sorted table. Sorted table means while adding the entries itself, SAP will try to arrange the data in an order internally. Done. So what I'll do is, wantedly, let me try to add the data in an ascending order. So here I'll say something, what, 8. Let me give some employee name. I'll give it as something Kiran. Let us give this as something supervisor. I'll add one more record. Employee number, let us give it as 9. Some employee name, Ashok. And I'll give the designation as something, what shall I give? Manager. Fine, that's fine. Next, I'll give one more record. Let us give it as something 12. Employee name, I'll give it as something Pratap, and I'll give the designation as something employee. Employee. Done. So here, yeah, that's it. Okay, so they are the records I'll add. Let me add this employee number as, one second. I have added 589. 589, I added 12. Okay, let me remove this for the time being. So 589, 12 I've added. Okay, let me try to add the data. 5, okay, done. Let me try to display the data. So I'll say right data in what? T underscore emp. How to display we already know. So I'll say loop at T underscore emp into what is the work area we declared? W underscore emp. I'll say right W underscore emp. I'll try to display the fields from the work area. W underscore emp, employee name, then employee designation. End loop. So here before I execute, this is what kind of internal table? Sorted internal table. Sorted means what? The data will be added in what? Sorted. The data will be maintained in what? Sorted order internally. On which field it is going to maintain the data in an order? What is that field here? Employee number. Based on the key field, it will try to maintain the data in a sort order. So what is the sequence I'm adding? Employee number 5, employee number 8, next 9, and something what, 12. Okay, let's execute this. And we already know the concept of append statement. Append statement will always add the data to the end of the internal table. So wantedly I'm adding the data in an order 5, 8, 9, and 12 in the ascending order of what? Employee number. So when I execute, observe this carefully. When I execute, yeah, I got the data now. What is the data I got? 5 Raju manager, 8 Kiran so and so. So whatever the sequence I've added, the same sequence I got it. So point here is, can I use append statement on the sorted internal table? Yes. But most of the people in the interviews, what they'll blindly will say is, what is the difference between standard internal table and a sorted internal table? They'll say that standard supports both the append statement as well as insert statement for adding the data, but sorted internal table doesn't support append, which is absolutely wrong. So at this stage, you can see I'm able to use append statement on the sorted internal table. It is working fine. I got the data in the same sequence which I've added. Okay, so what I'll do now is, observe this carefully. Wantedly, somewhere at the last, I'll give the employee number as something what, 5 is already there. I'll take 6. I'll give employee name as something Karan and so on. Right? So this is what kind of internal table? Sorted. So according to the sorting sequence of the key field, what is the key field I mentioned here? Employee number. No? So according to the sorting sequence of employee number, this employee number 6 should come between 5 and 8. Na? First record is 5, second record is 8. So in between 5 and 8, it has to maintain the data internal. It has to add the entry. But we are using what statement? Append statement. Na? Append statement will always point where? Already we know append statement will always copy the data to the end of the internal table. So we are telling SAP to add this record to the end of the internal table. But according to the sorting sequence, 6 should come between 5 and 8. Na? Right? So we are destroying the sorting sequence. Let's see what happens. Save it, check for the syntax error, execute. When I say F8, good. I got the runtime error. What is the runtime error here? ITab illegal sort order. What is the short text? Error while inserting or changing rows in a sorted table. What happened? Error in the program. The current program 29 had to be terminated because it has found a statement that could not be executed. Error analysis. An attempt was made to insert or change. Actually, insert spelling is INSERT. So there is an error in the error. Okay. So an attempt was made to insert or change a row in the internal table. Type what table? Sorted table at position what? 4. Position spelling is wrong. So there are some bugs in the SAP software also, right? Okay. So position 4. This corrupted the sort sequence defined for the table by its key. This corrupted the sort sequence. So which line number it is raising the error here? 44th line. What is this 44th line? If I scroll down, yeah, it is giving me the error in this statement only, because we are trying to append this record 6. Append will try to add where? At the end. But according to the sorting sequence, 6 should come as the second record in the internal table. That's why it is leading to what? Runtime error. Am I clear? So what is the first point here? Append statement may lead to runtime error. May lead to runtime error if you are not ensuring the sorting sequence. So what is that I'll do now? Okay, so here I'll just comment here. This will give you what? Runtime error. So instead of using append, I'll try to use insert. Insert what? W underscore emp into table T underscore emp. So the advantage of using insert over append, in a sorted internal table is we need not worry about the sorting sequence. Okay, SAP will automatically add that record at the appropriate position. So let's see whether it works or not. Save, check for the syntax, no errors, done. Execute this. F8. Yes, what happened here? 6 automatically got inserted where? In the second position. Because of this reason, it is recommended to use insert on append. So the advantage of using insert is I need not worry, the developer need not worry about the sorting sequence. The record will be automatically inserted at the appropriate position. But if I use append statement, what is the problem? We should take care of the sorting sequence based on the key field. If you are destroying the sorting sequence, obviously it leads to what? Runtime error. Okay. Any queries up to this point? Okay. Right. So, what kind of key we declared? Unique. Unique means what I told? The key field cannot have the duplicate values. So, what is the last record in this internal 12 only? Na? 12 Pratap and so on. So, I'll say I'll try to add one more record. Just try to understand. Somewhere here, I'll try to add once again 12. I'll give the employee name as something else. Let me give the employee name as something Srinivas something. Okay, designation I'll give it as something manager. Okay, again I'm using append statement. What is the behavior of the append statement? It always tries to add the record to the end of the internal table. So anyhow, this 12 should come at the end only, na, according to the sorting sequence. But this 12 is already defined. 12 is already defined, and this is what kind of internal table? Sorted internal with a unique key. Unique means what? Which cannot accept duplicate values. So here I got the runtime error because why we got the runtime error? Because sorting sequence what? Destroyed. Sorting sequence destroyed. Okay. So here again I'm using append. Let's see what happens. So when I execute, yes, I got a different error now. Itab underscore duplicate underscore key index operand. What is that here? Error during insertion into a table with a unique key. See the error analysis. The table so and so t underscore emp was defined with a unique primary key. No entries with identical keys, no entries the duplicate keys can be inserted into this kind of table. Okay, in the present case, an attempt was made to insert a new row at position 5. There was already an entry with exactly the same key at this position or in the row before. Am I clear? So it is giving me what? Runtime error because we are trying to insert what? Duplicate values, but we have defined as what? Unique key, na? So that is what will happen. So here also I'll get what? Runtime error. Runtime error. So what I'll say here, I'll say something duplicate keys found. So here also what I can do instead of using append, I'll try to use what? Insert. Okay, already 12 is there. What is the combination I'm having? 12 Pratap employee. Now I'm trying to insert 12 Srinivas and manager. Okay, 12 Srinivas and manager. Okay, so save, check for the syntax, done. F8. What happened here? It is automatically bypassing, it is automatically ignoring the duplicate record. It is not inserting the 12 again. Na? So this is another advantage of using insert on what? Sorted internal table. So because of these two reasons, it is recommended to use insert statement rather than append on what? Sorted internal table. Because in case of append, it may lead to runtime error in two cases. One is when the sorting sequence is destroyed, or if the sorted internal is defined with a unique key, and if you try to insert duplicate key field values using append statement, that will give again what? Runtime error. Okay, so this is the difference between append and insert on sorted internal tables. So in the interview point of view, if anyone asks what is the difference between append and insert on internal tables, blindly we should not ask. We should ask what kind of internal table it is, whether it is standard, sorted, or what? Ashed. In case of standard, already we know the difference. In case of sorted, what is that? If you are using append, we have to take care of the sorting sequence based on the key field, and we have to take care of existence of what? Duplicate entries. Otherwise, in these two cases, in either of these two cases, append statement execution leads to what? Runtime error, which we can avoid by using what? Insert statement. So if you are using insert on sorted internal table, as a developer, I need not worry about the sorting sequence. I need not worry about the existence of what? Duplicate key values. That's it. This is about append and insert on sorted. Any questions, please? Okay, so I'm not getting any questions. Hope everyone is active. Fine. Right. Okay. Now, yesterday we have seen for what? Standard or day before yesterday, For standard internal tables, we know it supports all three types of searches, na? Linear search, binary search, what is the other one? Indexed search. Okay, so let us confirm whether this linear search, binary search, and index search is supported for what this particular sorted internal table. One second, please. Right. So what I'll do is, okay, in the same program, I'll try to do it. I'll try to use, yeah, what I'll do is, now I'll try to, yeah, I'll try to search for a record whose what index is what something two. Okay, I want to search for the second record. So I know the position. Okay, so when do we go for index? When you know the position, we'll go for what index. So how do we read a specific record from the internal table? We already know by using read statement. What is the concept of read statement? If the read is successful, if it populates the data from body to what work area, and it will set the system field size sub rc to what 4. So here I'll say clear w underscore emp, clear w underscore emp. I'll say read table t underscore emp into w underscore emp index what 2, index 2. So when do we go for specifying the index? If you know the position, we'll specify the index, and we know the index of the internal table starts from what 1. If size sub rc equal to 0, programmatically how do we check whether read is successful or not? If the read is successful, already we know it will set the size sub rc value to what 0, otherwise what 4. If size sub rc equal to 0, if size sub rc is equal to 0, I'll say yeah, I'll just give a message here, read successful. What is this? Indexed search. Read successful index search. W underscore emp hyphen employee number. W underscore emp hyphen employee name. W underscore emp hyphen employee designation. Okay, else I'll just give a message, read failed. And if that's all. Yeah, I'm trying to read the second record. So save it. I'll give the underline. Done. So when I execute, yes, what happened? What is the second record in my internal table? 6 current and what? Employee. 6 current and employee. Suppose I'll give the index as something 28. Do I need 28 the record in the internal table? No. So what happens? Read will fail. Okay. So when I execute, it has gone to the else block. I got the message what? Read failed. Read failed. So I'll quickly try to debug. Just observe. I'll put the breakpoint on the 63rd line. Okay, already we know the debugging part. So I'll put the breakpoint. I'm not interested to debug up to this line. So I want to start debugging from the 63rd line. So I'll put the breakpoint here. Done, breakpoint is set. When I execute, yeah, I'll go to desktop 3 for a better view. So what is the current data in the work area? If I double click, employee number is 12, employee name is Pratap, and employee designation is what? Something what? Employee. Okay. And what is the value of size of RC? I can check it here on the top. You can see what is the current value of size of RC? 0. Okay. If you want, you can type it here also. So what is the current value of size of RC? 0. Okay. Done. So before we start using the work area, it is better to clear. So I'm clearing the data. I'll say F5. Done. It got cleared. I got employee number 0, employee name space, employee designation space. Default values I got. Now I'm trying to read what, which record? 28th record. If you see your internal table, okay, if I double click on T underscore EMP, my internal has got how many records? Only what? 5 records. What is the index of this? If I double click on this, it takes a control to the tables tab. What are the indexes here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have any index with the index position as 28. So what happens? My read statement execution will fail. Na? So if the read statement execution is failed, size of RC will be set to how much? 4. At the time of executing the read statement, size of RC is what? 0. But we should bother about that status after execution. So let me try to execute. When I say F5, done. Size of RC is what? 4, which means what? Read is failed. Nothing is transferred to the work area. So that's why the control goes to else part. I got the message what? Read failed. I got the message read failed. Okay, done. Understood. Suppose I'll say index 2 here. Index 2. So what is the meaning here? Index 2 is available now. If I put the breakpoint once again here, when I execute, yeah, let me quickly check the size of RC value. At the time of execution, what is the value of size of RC? 0. So I'll say F5. Done. So what is the current data in my work area? Employee number is 0. Employee name is space. Employee designation is also what? Space. I'm about to execute the read statement. What is the current value of size of RC? 0. As I told you, we should check the status after executing the statement. So if the read is successful, size of RC will set to 0 only. So this size of RC will remain 0. So when I say F5, I'm trying to read which record? Second record. So when I say F5, done. Size of RC remains what? 0. Means what? Read is successful. That's why data got transferred to what? Work area, 6 current employee. If you see the internal table, what is the second record here? Second record is what? 6 current and what? Employee. It is successfully populated to work area. It will display. It will enter the if block now. I'll say F5. It will execute that. So I'm not interested to debug further. I'll say F8. I got the record. So what is the meaning here? Sorted internal table also supports what? Indexed search. Indexed search. Now I'll try to read. I'll try to read a record whose employee number is 12. I want to use binary search. Okay. So I'll say, okay, what is the change I'll do? Read table T underscore EMP into W underscore EMP. I want to search the record based on a condition. Earlier we are searching the record based on the position. Every time we may not know the position. When we have lakhs of records, obviously we cannot know the position. So I have to search it based on a condition. So I'll try to search based on what, sorry, how to give the syntax with the key. With the key, employee number equal to 12. With the key, employee number equal to 12. Acha. I want to use what? Binary search. Or first let me search for what? Linear search only. I'll give the employee number as 9. Read table T underscore EMP into W underscore EMP with the key employee number equal to 9. I'll say read successful. This kind of search is called as what? Yes, linear search, or we call it as what? Sequential search. Why it is called as linear search? Already we have discussed in the last sessions. It will start searching from what? First record. It will check the records one after the other until one of the conditions is satisfied. So I'm trying to search for a record whose employee number is 9. So when I execute, I'll give it different colors here. Done. So when I execute here, yes, what happened here? I got the employee number 9. What is this? Ashok and what? Manager. Working fine. So what is the meaning? Sorted internal table supports what? What? Linear search. Now let me try to go for a binary search. I'll say, I'll just copy it as it is. Let me give a different color. Read table T and I'll search for the employee number 12. I want to use the addition what? Binary search. How do we use? We have to use the keyword binary search. What is the prerequisites for binary search? Earlier we have seen. If you want to use binary search on standard internal table, what
Sorting.
was it? Yeah, the table should be in what? Sorted order based on the search field. So here we are searching on what field here? Employee number. So the table should be in sorted order. No? Already this is the what table here? It is a sorted internal table. What is the key field I give? Employee number. So already the data is in what? Sort order. Wantedly, again I'll say sort T underscore EMP by what? Employee number means explicitly I'm trying to use what? Sort command. Explicitly I'm trying to use a sort command. Let's see what happens. Save, check for the syntax. Good. What is the error I got in the 90th line? T underscore EMP is a table of type what? Sorted. The sort command cannot be used with this type of table. The sort command cannot. So explicit sort is not supported in case of what? Sorted internal table. So this will give me what? Syntax error. Okay, so done. Save it, check for the syntax, no errors. So for your understanding, I'll say binary search. Save it, check for the syntax, execute. Yes, I got that record now. I got 12 Pratap and what? Employee. Working fine. So what is the meaning? Just like standard internal table, sorted internal table also supports what? All three types of searches: linear, indexed, and what? Binary. But what is the difference we have seen between these two? What is the difference is? For standard internal table, the key declaration is not compulsory. It is not mandatory. Whereas for sorted internal table, the key declaration is mandatory. Another point is standard internal table supports only what? Non-unique. Whereas sorted internal table supports what? Both unique and what? Non-unique. In case of standard internal tables, I can use both append and insert. In case of sorted also, I can use append and insert, but we should very carefully use append statement. There is a possibility of there's a possibility of getting runtime error if you are using the append statement. In what cases will get the runtime error? If the sorting sequence is destroyed based on the key field, or what else, if any duplicate keys are found for the unique key field, then in that cases append statement will lead to runtime error. So because of these two reasons, it is always recommended to use what? Insert on sorted. But don't blindly say append is not supported. That sentence is wrong. Append is supported when you are ensuring the sorting sequence and when you are ensuring that there are no duplicate entries for the unique key field. And what is the other difference? In case of standard, explicit sort is supported. In case of sorted, explicit sort is not supported. While adding the entries itself, the data will be in what? Sorted order. So if you see this slide, which already I've shared with everyone in the material folder, where is it? Yeah. So focus on the first two columns. The difference between standard and what? Sorted. Whatever I discussed in the last few sessions, they are the 4 points. So if you see the fourth point there, append and insert statements are supported. Here also append and insert is supported, but append is valid only when sorting sequence is ensured, otherwise it leads to what? Runtime error. Append will lead to runtime error when you try to insert what? Duplicate key values. Okay, so Ash internal table I'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, I'm having a call now, right? And I'm not feeling well also. Right, I'll discuss this Ash internal table tomorrow, and there is one oldest way of declaring the internal table. What I did in this batch is directly I started with the recommended standard syntax. But when you're working in the support projects, there is a possibility that you may encounter the old syntax. So what is that old syntax? We'll do that. Okay, we may not use it in the real time if you are using the support project. Sorry, if you're working in the implementation projects, always we'll go for this syntax what we are discussing in the last few sessions. But when you're working in the support projects, what do you mean by support projects? Already customer is running their business on SAP system for so many years, but you are giving the production support. Production support means if any issues are raised in the production system, we need to fix it. So when you're fixing that errors raised in the production system, you might encounter the old syntax because at that time customer might be using old version of the SAP software. So in that case, the developers might have used the old syntax. It is always better we know the old syntax also. So that part I'll cover it tomorrow. Yeah, any other queries? Acha, one more thing, one small feedback I want to know. Suppose on Friday, if I take the class morning 6:30, is it fine with everyone? 6:30 or 6:15 in the morning? Is it okay with everyone on Friday, this Friday? Only for one day. Is it
Yes,
fine
yes,
with everyone? 6:15,
Yes,
6:30.
fine.
no problem.
Especially those who are
Yes,
attending outside India. No problem, right? Okay. So tomorrow what
Yeah, yeah,
we'll
no
do is,
problem.
yeah, tomorrow what we'll do is, we'll have it at same time around 8:30 tomorrow. About Friday's timings, I will communicate tomorrow because what I want is I want to discuss one topic which I have not covered with the previous batch. So just want to merge that. Okay, because they are also waiting for the topic, almost done with other topics. That topic I have not covered for them, so I thought of merging that batch. I'll inform you about that. Tomorrow, same time, 8:30. About Friday's schedule, I will let you know tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, so before I log off for today, any questions, please ask. No questions? Sure then. So I'll wind off. I'll try to share this material and recording by afternoon. So try to practice this. Tomorrow would be the last session for internal table, but doesn't mean that we will not use internal tables. As I told you yesterday, almost in every topic from now onwards, we'll be using the internal tables and work areas. So after tomorrow's session, for few days or for few weeks, I may not touch the internal table, but once we get into the advanced topics, reports, module pool, database programming, smart forms, BDC, okay, in all those areas, we have to use internal tables. See, why I'm keeping on repeating is, I repeat this in every batch, but people will not listen. When we get into advanced topic, again, they'll think of these internal tables. What is this read statement? What is modify statement? What is indexed search? What is delete statement? What is describe? Those things we should not focus at that stage. So that's the reason. Please practice. Take time. Please practice. Okay. Chala then. So I'll wind up. We'll continue tomorrow.